In this video, I'm going to show you how to navigate through the PLP to view your students' progress. So this is the dashboard you should see after you've logged in as your student. Week is a place where students can go in and set goals. So it's got, you can make a custom goal, or it's got items under each content area where you can just click them and set a goal for that week. It's a good place to just if you have your business plan to finish, you're going to have to do that. In humanities, you can add a goal. It's got all of these steps of things that your student needs to finish, and they can pick what they want to do just as a reminder, so that when they pull up the screen, the first thing they see is their goals, and that's a good reminder of what they're supposed to be doing. Under year, your student can see up here, these are projects. So the top row of each one are projects. And then the bottom row are, not the bottom row, the middle row are focus areas. These are where students can take content assessments. Content assessments are little tests that allow students to see how well they're doing in one, like knowledge of words too. So this student got 8 out of 10. You need to get 8 out of 10 to pass the content assessment. Content assessments can only be approved by teachers. So that's not something they can take at home unless we make other arrangements. But before you take a content assessment, you can take a diagnostic assessment. So let me go back to one that the student hasn't finished yet. So I'm going to go to year again. And then we'll go to genre 1 in humanities. And then we're going to go to start diagnostic assessment. It's not going to let me do this because I'm not actually signed in as a student, but this would pull up a multiple choice test that will tell the kids how they scored in each of these different sections over here. So introductory materials, definition of genre, fiction, nonfiction, personal writing. So the spot that they need to study, they can just click here and it'll take them to, it'll give definition of genre here, fiction. So I need to study fiction because I got 0 right in the fiction area. I can study this material. All of these materials are teacher-vetted websites like Khan Academy that allow the students just decent resources for getting tutored in this subject. Now, some of this stuff is taught in the classroom, I think, in a lot of different contents. I know math and humanities and word study, they take notes on all this stuff, and there's teacher instruction on this stuff. But another component of what we do, like in design, there are no focus areas. There are just projects because there are no pre-made focus areas in the design content. So our focus is primarily just on projects. So these projects will turn green when your student has submitted it for feedback and the teacher has evaluated it. Sometimes they'll be red. I know specifically in math right now, this line right here, this blue line, is where Summit says students should be. We don't have control over the pacing of this line. So math right now, even though there are 3 that are marked red, really at this point students should have only finished 2. So the PLP is not perfect, but we do our best to try to work with it to make sure students know where they're supposed to be. So they should know and be able to tell you that no mom, no dad, these are red, but we're actually just starting factors and multiples right now. So projects up here, we'll go to t-shirt companies. So what you have here is a final product. Final product is what the student submits. Down here we have resources. And then some will have checkpoints. This checkpoint is actually just a copy of the final product. So checkpoints are step-by-step things that students can do as they go that lead up to the final product. In t-shirt companies, the final product is a Google Doc, a pretty extensive Google Doc, excuse me, that gives students instructions on what to do. We also go over this all in class. I paraphrase and make sure the students know what they're supposed to do. And I will be sending out a revised link that parents can look at to a Google Doc that'll have a bunch of resources in case your student's falling behind on this one. Also, Projects are kind of organic. We have to touch them up as we go, change them. So what happens on this final product, we cannot edit after we've assigned the project. So we may have alternate ways of allowing students to submit work, or different types of work than is actually on the final product. So that's something to bear in mind when reading through projects. If you see a deviation in what the project says they're going to do and what the students are doing, um, that should be something your student can explain as well, or you can always contact the teachers. Um, for instance, in the business plan, let's see if it'll let me open it. So kids went in, they figured out how to cost and price vinyl per square inch. This was a bunch of unit conversions and unit rates that they had to do. But if we come down to the bottom right, so design right here, it says to upload some designs. What the students are doing now is they're actually uploading a Google Forms with screenshots of their designs that's intended to ask other students what they think of the shirts to get their subjects' feedback. Prototyping would be a picture of vinyl that was cut. And then the calculator. So we did a Google Sheet and programmed it so that we could just change the quantity and it would tell us exactly what the cost and price of the t-shirt was, so how much it cost us to make it and how much we were going to sell it for. But we also did a hot pepper calculator, and students were given the option of uploading a link to either one in this section. So that is something that changes. I can't change this document, but I can change or add what the students let them know, as long as they know what to put in here. And this will all be on the amended document that I send out to parents. So again, we go to year. Top one is projects. Second one is focus areas. And the bottom ones are just extras. These are challenge focus areas. These are what we'd expect students. We want them to get through it, but if they don't, at least they get through these, then that fulfills a requirement of what they need. I think this does count for the small portion of their grades, the challenge focus areas. But the primary focus for focus areas is the powers, not the additionals and the challenge. So projects and power focus areas are what we really concentrate on in class. Now math is a little bit different, as everything in math is taught primarily through the power focus areas, where the teacher goes in and makes sure that students have class time to understand concepts, take notes, work through problems, and then they break it up with some cool projects. The next one coming up is a smoothie competition, which I'm really looking forward to. So then down here on progress. Progress is where you can see the grade your student has been getting. If it says incomplete, it means that they have not submitted a project. So back here on year, the projects are where we are able to give cognitive scores. In order for us to give cognitive scores, the student must go in to the project. So I can't see this. This is a problem if you log in and you're not a student. Sometimes you'll get you need permission. But over here, the student will be able to submit it. After they submit it, we grade it and send it back, and then it says scored. So sometimes the problem is the student just hasn't submitted it, and we need to figure that out. So progress also, this is just shows what the student's done. So it gives them a check. So things on their goals, if they have the goals up and then they do this stuff, it shows things they've done. So they attempted this, they submitted this, it gives them a check, and you could just keep going through this stuff. College is a place where students can then go in and set their goals for what grades they want to get. And they can also set habits of success. So that's like 21st century skills. All this stuff here, get started, explore, grades, test scores, my essay, and letters of recommendation. These are just tools to help them keep track of stuff that they will need to get into college. So that concludes the video for today. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to any teachers if you have any questions. Our emails are all our first name at prideprepschool.org.